Floor is yours, sir.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. I am Yasha Franklin Hodge, Chair of the Public Improvement Commission, and I call to order the Public Improvement Commission hearing of July 11, 2024. Mr. Lyman, please take a roll call.
Certainly. Would the representative from the Public Works Department please state their name for the record?
Yasha Franklin Hodge.
Property Management Department, please do the same.
Callahan.
Transportation Department.
Amy Gordon.
Inspectional Services Department.
Brian Ronan.
Water and Sewer Commission.
Denise Devlin.
Commission for Persons with Disabilities.
Sarah Leo.
We have a full quorum.
Excellent. Well, we will jump right into our very short agenda for today, starting with hearing minutes 1. At the request of the Public Improvement Commission staff, the acceptance of the minutes of the PIC hearing held on June 27th, 2024. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of June 27, 2024.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstain? So moved. On to new business 1, Greenwood Avenue, Hyde Park, abandonment on a petition by AJFMAF Realty LLC. Would the proponents please introduce themselves, their affiliations, and talk us through what you are proposing to do here?
Charlie, I believe you're muted.
My apology.
There we
Good
go.
morning, everyone, and Mr. Chairman and members of the Commission. My name is Charlie Tevnin. I am an attorney at 15 Broad Street, Boston. I represent the petitioners, AJFMAF Realty LLC, doing business as Tri Construction. The petition has been submitted with the plan, updated plan. I've been working with Joe Fazzella, professional land surveyor, over the past number of months on this petition. He is not on this call. He was not able to be on the Zoom hearing this morning. But we have, as part of the submission, the sign-offs from the various utilities, public agencies. There's been nothing but no objections to this. There are no utilities running through this paper street. It's never been a public way. It's always been a public, or rather paper street since the laying out of the lots in the late 1800s. I've also included a title opinion letter, and that the landowner owns the property on both sides of this paper street, and therefore, upon the abandonment officially of the paper street, given that it's a private way, the landowner will own into the middle of both sides of the private way. It consists of approximately 5,000 square feet. It's located on Providence Street in Hyde Park. It's in an industrial area. And I would welcome any questions that anyone may have.
Thank you, Charlie. Are you able to share the plan set, screen share the plan set? If not, Todd may be able to pull it up.
I am not at this moment.
No worries. Todd, are you able to share? We just like to put it into a recording for the record so that folks can see it.
Certainly. Give me 1 second, sorry. Apologies, my computer's giving me an issue. There you go.
All right. Thank you very much. All right, commissioners, any questions or comments about this? All right, hearing none. I guess I have a request, which is, and perhaps this has already been done, so maybe put this as a question. Has there been any outreach to inform the other abutters on the rest of this private way that this abandonment is before the Public Improvement Commission, or that there's been, that this is under consideration?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, there absolutely has been direct outreach. There's there are only, you can see, there are only 4 houses on this, or 5 houses on this street. One of which, the closest, one of the 2 that are closest to the abandoned area is owned by my client, but the others have all indicated their support for this. What it doesn't show on the plan is that there is at the end of Greenwood Avenue, before the abandonment area, there's a wall, and there's a deep drop in the grade. So there's never been any access to this area in the last 100 years. It's always been just on a paper street, this end of Greenwood Avenue. I don't think there's any controversy at all. There was nothing but support. I did get an email just late yesterday. Kirchen, who's the president of the Hyde Park Neighborhood Association, she sent, I sent her a complete copy of the entire submission, and she did say that one of her members she thought would be on this hearing. So, but that was our outreach to the Hyde Park Neighborhood Association. Prior to that, the outreach was just to the utility companies, the government agencies, and the direct abutters.
Got it. Okay, excellent. Great. Yeah, mostly just want to make sure that folks are aware. It sounds like you've done a great job with that. I'm hearing no other questions from the commission, so turn it over to PIC staff or members of the public, and I see your hand raised. So Todd, you want to kick us off here?
Certainly, I'll just take this opportunity to remind the public, if you wish to ask questions or add testimony, please use the raised hand function, which can be found, I believe, at the reactions tab at the bottom of your screen. I see a call-in number ending in 1445 has a hand raised. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Commissioner. My name is Greg Martin. I am with the Hyde Park Neighborhood Association, which the attorney just referred to a member, HB&A. Kind of want to correct him a little bit. I don't think he outreached HB&A. We found out about this, and I think we contacted him. I'm not sure. That's all I understood. But it's good to hear
That's
that
correct.
he's done. Sorry.
That's correct, Mr. Martin.
Okay.
We did not previously, but when I got the email from Mimi yesterday, I responded immediately.
Oh, so yeah, we thank you so much, because that gave us a little more information. But we have a meeting tonight, which we'll be able to look at your correspondence a little bit more closely. This is kind of new to us. Found out about this. But one of the questions I have is you referred to a wall. What kind of a wall that's preventing access? What kind of a wall is that? Is that one of the old cobblestone walls, or?
They are, they're big cement blocks that are literally holding the earth back.
Okay, so it's a retaining wall?
Yes, and I think I want to just, I think I just want to give a little background that prior to my client's purchase of one of these properties, it was in extreme disrepair. It was a haven for drinking and
Mystery.
right, exactly. Thank
Okay.
you. My clients have entirely cleaned the property, improved it 1,000%, there's, the amount of abandoned vehicles on the street has been dramatically reduced. It was kind of a dumping ground for quite a number of years. I think that just gives some context to the history of the property, and that would include half of the abandoned area. And then in the last few years, I'm sorry?
No, I'm sorry, I interrupted, I apologize.
And then in the last few years, my clients were able to purchase the property on the other side. And so this makes it, they're an approved contractor for the Public Works Department. They do snow removal, they do street paving, they're a, they contribute to the,
Sure.
to the nuts and bolts of the city. And this is helping their operation, and in turn, I think is helping, the greater community.
So, thank you, sir. So, is it zoned light industrial, or is it zoned residential? Because it's residential on the street.
This area is zoned light industry.
Light industrial.
Providence, this lot,
Yep.
this abandoned area literally faces Providence Street.
Okay.
There is really no real connection to Greenwood Avenue, just on pavement.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And Providence Street, as you know, is mostly industrial. along
Okay,
that
so
edge.
that is the intent, is to use it for his industrial operation?
Yes, it's actually currently being used. It's just that if you can see on the plan, I know you called in, I'm not sure if you can
Yeah.
see the plan that's being displayed, but
No, I'll
there
see
is-
it tonight when I go to the meeting.
it does show the, right straight down the middle of that abandoned area are those concrete blocks. So that was, more or less before my client was able to purchase the property on the other side of the line, it was still being utilized up to the concrete wall, to the concrete blocks. So I think it will help because those blocks will then be able to be removed. It'll just make things easier in their yard, contractor yard. And I think it's been an improvement over the past number of years, dramatic improvement in that area, and I think it will only continue to improve.
Okay. Can I just ask one more question?
Of course.
Mr. Commissioner? Any tree removal involved in making this a private way?
I can try to answer that question on behalf of the petitioner. I don't think that there are. I was out, I was on site in the past couple of months, and I noted there are a few trees that are along the, where the grade drops. I don't think that there are any trees that are in the abandoned area. And so I guess I can safely say that there are no plans to remove any trees, but if they are, I think that they would be done in a way that they'd be replaced somewhere else.
No, those are the only questions, and I'll be able to explain to at the meeting tonight. But I just kind of want to ask the commission, because this administration is trying to encourage preserve all canopy trees. I'd like to get confirmation that there indeed aren't any mature tree removal in this process, or if there is, how many. So I would appreciate it if you pay attention to that. I think it would. I really appreciate you giving me the time today to ask the question.
Of
Mr.
course,
Martin,
thank you for coming. Oh, go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, I wanted to say, Mr. Martin, I'm happy to follow up with you offline to try to answer this question a little better. And I guess I want to reiterate one thing again, and that is, this is not an abandonment of a public way. This
Right.
is an abandonment of a private way. And
Yeah.
so any trees that might be public trees would be on a public way. But I
Right.
understand what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. I cannot answer fully on this, at this moment, but I will try to get you a better answer.
And I understand that, and I do understand the difference between public trees and private trees, but there is supposedly incentive to try and prevent the private tree removal as well. I mean, I know the commissions have dealt with it in the past couple of years. That are
So-
paying attention to private trees. So I'm hoping that we can just find out how many, regardless if they're public or private trees, are at risk for.
So we'll ask the petitioners to, when they return for their public hearing in 2 weeks, to just confirm that there are no plans for tree removal in the area that's being abandoned here. And it sounds like you don't believe that to be the case, but it would be great if you can come back and confirm that for us at your public hearing.
Will do.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much. GIC staff or any other members of the public who wish to comment?
I think we're all set on this one.
All right, excellent. With that, will you be ready for your public hearing in 2 weeks on July 25th?
Yes.
All right, thank you very much. Well, we will see you in 2 weeks.
And Mr. Chairman, it may be Mr. Vazella who will be at the hearing in 2 weeks, only because I'm scheduled for a long overdue family vacation that week.
Understood. We're happy to have whoever wants to represent the project. So, and I hope you have a great vacation.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody. All right, on to our second item, new business 2, 1395 to 1405 Washington Street, Boston proper. Specific repairs and a petition by the Wash L LLC. Would the petitioners please introduce themselves and their affiliations and walk us through what is being proposed?
Hi, my name is Giovanni Federa. I'm the civil engineer on the project. I'm owner of Federa Engineering based out of Danvers, Massachusetts. I think we have Chris Wally here in the meeting. He's overseeing construction as a contractor. But as for the project, it's a proposed, it's currently, well, I know it's under construction, but it was a single-story restaurant at the subject property, and it's being proposed as I think it's a, 35, or, it's a multi-residential building.
Giovanni, I can jump in if
Yeah,
that's
sure,
helpful.
go right ahead.
You're on as well. How's it going, guys? Chris Wally of Copper Development, I'm the owner's rep on the project. Yeah, so Giovanni, so it's 33 condominium units to be constructed, 6-story building, about 7,800 square feet of ground floor retail. Peter Georgiantis is on as well, who's the owner petitioner, the Wash LLC. As the petitioner, Peter, I don't know if you want to introduce yourself as well.
Peter Jordantis, I'm the developer of the property.
So having said that, Giovanni, sorry, I'll let you take back over if you want to jump into the petition.
Absolutely. And as for the camera, I'm having technical difficulties of the camera right now, so you won't be able to see me, and unfortunately, but I'm missing out on anything great anyway. But
Giovanni, would you be able to share the plan set?
Absolutely.
All right, that would be great. Thank you.
Here's the plan. So the existing conditions, as previously before construction, there was the curb that ran along Washington Street that went straight, right? There was no bump out, and that's part of the proposed project for work within the right-of-way. The proposed project is having this bump out, and that was to do so, and I think Peter and Chris can talk more about that. That was proposed really for entrance of the building, I believe, just to kind of give it wider width along the sidewalk, because there is the entrance right here, as well as an entrance over here, I believe. But so with that bump out, you know, we have to propose, you know, improvements, and there is an existing hydrant located right here. That is currently not in a parking spot, obviously, so we decided to put it back over here in this bump out and just, you know, create more parking as possible, right, rather than take away parking spots. So that's exactly what we did. There's a large transformer vault that's being installed. I think Eversource or the utility company will be overseeing that.
And so Giovanni, sorry, just to jump in on that. So Eversource is going to be the petitioner. It's a separate PIC petition for that transformer vault as well. So that's not a part of this petition.
Okay. We did reach out to all the utility contacts and the agencies of the city of Boston. We got comments back from all the agencies of the city. We addressed all the comments, and we got satisfactory emails and responses back from each agency. We also reached out to all the utility companies, and we heard back from the majority of them, all without any comments or questions or concerns. They all seem to be okay with it so far. It's not a whole lot to do with the project, so I mean it's essentially this bump out that's being installed. The pavers will be matched with the existing sidewalk. However, within this bump out, there will be it's going to be a pervious paver, just for stormwater purposes, and that was a comment that was addressed by the Green Infrastructure Department. They wanted to see some stormwater mitigation. That's what we are installing over here. It's, Chris, is there anything you want to add, or Peter?
Just one correction you said at the beginning, Giovanni. The bump out first came to light from the Disabilities Commission
Okay.
at City Hall, who started the process with the request for the bump out. We obliged to their request.
All right.
That's it.
Okay. We're happy to answer any questions.
Got it. So just to make sure I understand, the purpose of this is to create more accessible sidewalk access and better paths of travel for people who are traversing the sidewalk area in front of the building.
Yes.
The existing sidewalk, there was a pinch point there.
I see.
Yeah, so as it kind of splays out as you go right to left on the page. The older sidewalks will be on the pinch points. We decided to, with disabilities, asked us to expand the path of travel.
Got it. Okay. And then a question which, for the proponents, although Amy may have some thoughts on this as well. My only concern when I see something like this, right, is that it's immediately adjacent to a bus lane, and there is a fair amount of demand for curbside access here. And so really kind of, I guess, two questions. One is, what is the new intended use of the ground floor of this building? And two, have there been any discussions about changes to the immediately adjacent parking regulations, the areas immediately adjacent to this bump out, to ensure that you don't have cars double parking in the bus lane here because of the loss of curb access or the loss of parking area in this space?
There are 3 retail restaurant bays there, and I can respond to that part of what's in the building. Giovanni, can you respond to what you've done with parking meters or drop-off spots?
Let's take a look at the existing.
It's
So
metered. It's metered.
it is all metered.
Yes.
It's, I believe, commercial loading during certain times of day and then converts to meter parking at other times.
So I mean, we just you know, we didn't want to take away a lot of parking spots, obviously, and but you know, we did previously propose having the bump out to be a little bit smaller, and it was determined after going through agency comments and responses that, you know, we should have it at this width right here, and we did also relocate the fire hydrant to put a parking spot there. So, you know, given the circumstances of having the, you know, the size of this bump out, and, you know, we're trying to fit as many parking spots as possible. This right here would be 2 parking spots, I believe. The meters, yeah, they're going to stay. I think they're shown here on the plan. But whatever meters that are located within this area, that they will be removed, of course. I hope that answers the question.
Well, it looks like you need to add meters on the other side because you're moving the hydrant and then sliding the bump out. But part of this is loading, and that is getting, you know, this from where you are beginning that hydrant removal to the end is got a loading implication that you're kind of chopping in half. So you have 2 spaces over here, and while you're adding 2 spaces over here, this is all of the yellow capped meters are to present like one loading edge that can kind of be easily accessed. And so we're going to have more conflict with the bus lane as trucks can't get into these other ones.
Okay.
So I think the ask here would be to, between now and your public hearing, to spend some time with DTD, and we may want to pull in Matt Warfield, who oversees our new mobility team and does a lot of work on curb access, just to look at the meter locations and the associated regulations. If we are seeing a net reduction in usable commercial loading space here, we want to be very intentional about how we set up the parking regulations on either side of this bump out so that we're not creating new or more frequent obstruction of the bus lane. But I think it's not a problem we need to solve in this new business hearing, but it's something that I want to make sure we put some work towards between now and the public hearing. So if the proponents can work with those teams and Todd can facilitate those conversations between now and then, and when you come back, just sort of report on what you came up with and if there are any intended regulatory changes or, you know, meter relocations or things like that that need to happen, just please bring those to the next conversation. But anywhere we see a large number of restaurants, we typically see significant traditional commercial loading activity for deliveries, usually in the form of large trucks, and we see often a high volume of short-term food pickup, drop-off, or food pickup activity. And so we want to make sure that the curb here, because we're limiting curb access in front of the building, we want to make sure that the adjacent areas are well regulated to ensure there's a safe and legal place to do that instead of having it happen from the bus lane.
Okay.
Can I ask a question off the record?
You're on the record, but you can ask a question.
Off the record, because I haven't done a lot of PSC. Currently, with our construction management plan, we've removed the lane as a staging area for construction and dumpsters and stuff. And the traffic seems to be flowing just fine, if not better. Is there a scenario where you just there's like 5 or 6 lanes here, which is unnecessary for the amount of traffic, lack of traffic in this area? Removing a lane, or other scenario, is there a scenario where we could just linearly bring the whole sidewalk out, 2 or 3 feet in a straight line all the way across, or as the building's run? Where the current curb cut is, the current curb is just make the whole sidewalk wider and eliminate the bump out, and then take out 6 inches from each lane if there's space there. So then you can leave the parking the way it is in terms of drop-off zones, meters, none of that would change, the sidewalk would get wider.
I defer to Amy on that.
I mean, are you offering to do it for the whole street? Yeah, I think that it's more the how far this goes, right? Like, I think that we have to have.
The pinch point's just in front of our building, right? And maybe to the right. To the left of the building, the sidewalk gets wider.
So maybe I'm misunderstanding what you want to bring out.
Yeah, from right there, where the pizza store ends, the green sign is there to the right. This is where the sidewalk gets really heavy.
So I guess that would depend on how wide the parking lane would end up being with the curb line being
So
right
there,
down to the roadway.
Right where you have the cursor is the worst pinch point. Can we just bring the curb out a foot or 2 feet?
Yeah, no, I think to Sarah's point, the devil's in the
4
dimensions.
inches. You can steal 4 inches or 6 inches from each lane, or if they're oversized, or eliminate a travel lane, which is unnecessary.
Yeah, I mean, I think that if you get, right, like if you give us all the relevant dimensions, we can figure out what can be robbed from, for sure.
And there's no bump out, there's just a straight sidewalk, which is wide. And then we have the drop-off restaurant zones, the drop-off building zone, switch the meters after. Right now it's 7 to 12 for commercial, I think, for deliveries. Post the meters after, maybe resident at night or whatever.
I don't want to blow this up and go sideways on it. It sounds like there's a...
You can present this to Sarah and I after this. We can take a look and see if we can make those dimensions work, because, right, like, I'm not opposed, just need to see the numbers.
Okay. You're right, everyone's going to double park in the bus lane, there's no way around that. Yep. Especially with Uber pickups at this building,
There's no parking, and then we've got 3 restaurants with food delivery, so that'll be a constant double parking.
All right, well, I appreciate you being open to solutions or improvements to address that issue. And yeah, please, take some time over the next couple of weeks to meet with the Disabilities Commission and BTD to talk through options. And hopefully there's some creative solutions that we can find here. So much appreciated. Commissioners, other questions or comments? PIC staff or members of the public?
No, I'll mention that the project does have a handful of relatively minor cleanup items that they need to get over to PIC staff in the next week or so, but we expect that to happen before the public hearing.
All right, excellent. Well, seeing no public questions, will you be ready for your next hearing in 2 weeks on July 25th?
Yes.
All right, excellent. Thank you very much. Look forward to seeing you then and getting some updates on this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.
All right, on to our final item, new business 3, 118 B Street, West 3rd Street, 8th Street, South Boston, pedestrian easement, specific repairs on a set of joint petitions by Hines and Kuhn Company and Mr. Charles McCarthy. Would the proponents please introduce themselves, their affiliations, and walk us through what you're proposing to do?
Good morning, Chairman, Commissioners, and staff. My name is George Moransky. I'm the project attorney. I have a business address at 350 West Broadway in South Boston. I'm joined by my client, one of the co-petitioners, Charles McCarthy, who's the developer of the site. We're also joined by Nick Campanelli of MBLA Landscape Architects and Ryan Patterson, who is the project PE. These two petitions relate to a recently approved 33-unit residential condominium building at 118 B Street. The site is located on B Street at the corners of West 3rd Street and a discontinued portion of Athens Street. or an abandoned portion of Athens Street that is now in private fee ownership, but is not associated, not part of the project site. Two petitions are for a pedestrian easement, which is rather self-explanatory. Ryan Patterson will be sharing the screen and walking the commission through the plans. And specific repairs, and these are best described, I think, as the standard specific repairs for a new residential building that include sidewalk widening, new curb cuts, relocation of curb cuts, new pedestrian ramps, including one raised pedestrian ramps, some removal and relocation of certain street lighting poles, new sidewalks, crosswalks, I should say, new curbing, etc. All of it is detailed on the specific repairs plan. We have received comments back from all public agencies, and all comments we believe have been integrated into the plans that Ryan will be sharing. With that, I will turn the presentation over to Ryan Patterson, and he can walk commissioners through both plans.
Thank you, George. If everybody can hear me, I'll share my screen.
Yep, we can hear you.
Great. So this is the civic repairs plan that George is referring to. It's sort of compiled over the last 3 or 4 months with significant collaboration between the project team and all the applicable public agencies. Looks like there's a lot going on, but if I could just sort of summarize the main part. Firstly, starting off, as George said, the curb cuts, all of which are on B Street, consists of the closing of this existing curb cut, which was for the existing commercial building, and relocating it to a 12-inch curb cut down here for the entrance to the new residential building. This portion of Athens Street, as George also mentioned, has become a private way since. So the idea here is to reduce the opening again to a 12-inch residential driveway and raise this sidewalk so that it's continuous from our property to the sidewalk on the other side of this Athens private way. That also gave us the room for this additional curb ramp and allowed us to make it ADA compliant. Next would be improvement or sort of upgrade and making compliant of all affected crosswalks and curb ramps. Starting at the corner of B and 3rd, we added a significant curb extension here. The existing wasn't quite the 6 feet called out in the Boston Complete Street. I also didn't really allow for a significant crosswalk across B Street. So here we added a raised crosswalk, these curb extensions, and we were able to also incorporate into the curb extensions some green space, which reduces the impervious surface. All affected crosswalks on the opposite side of the streets were either made compliant or found to be compliant in their existing condition. The next sort of large area of work was at this B Street Athens Street intersection. The existing condition was a little bit funky in that there was no real crosswalk attached to an existing curb ramp. So we were, as a result of making this driveway, we were able to add a curb ramp on the project side of the street, and that met another curb extension on the opposite side of the street, part of which had to be created due to this existing across Athens Street, which is a public street. The existing was non-conforming, and this raised, sort of modified raised crosswalk detail here was found to be the most practical and safest solution. That also resulted in having this curb extension in order to make that be ADA compliant. I guess the final main change then would be the green infrastructure sort of furnishing zone, in that we added one where there was where there was none previous. That consists of 3 pits with structural soil that the full width, of the sidewalk, denoted in the shade area. Pipe rack, light poles, and a 4-foot strip of permeable pavers. So there's 2 tree pits on West 3rd, and we were able to add 3 tree pits on B Street, along with these permeable pavers on B Street. And unless I'm missing anything, I think that's the gist of it. I'd be happy to take any questions.
Commissioners, questions? All right, hearing none from the other commission members, I guess my only question with this, it relates to the crosswalk over West 3rd, that for where the curb extension is being added. Was that evaluated for a potential raised crosswalk as well? And if so, what was the reason that it was not included in this?
No, it wasn't particularly considered for one, just that because that the existing ramp on the far side was compliant. And so...
But this one goes to a playground.
Yeah, this is the playground, yeah.
Yeah.
And so it was decided just to leave the existing conditions with this added curb ramp on this curb extension, as this one across the far side was existing compliant.
So to Amy's point, I mean, I think this would be an area because of Flaherty Park here, and in general, the nature of some of these streets in South Boston is, especially the one-ways, tend to be can be very speed prone. This would be a place that we would tend to prioritize for traffic calming, and so given that we are modifying the curb line on one side of the street, I think it would be we would be interested in looking at the feasibility of a raised crosswalk here. Understanding that some raised crosswalks are harder to do than others, I think it would be something worth evaluating at this location.
I will say another thing that sort of played into it was that after significant rainfall, there's no real catch basin on the far side of that crosswalk. And so I guess it was felt that there would be significant ponding sort of further up West 3rd. If we were to put a raised crosswalk in, effectively acting as a dam there and not being able to travel down West 3rd to the other catch basin. But yeah, it's ultimately something, we can take a look at and speak to you guys about it, of course.
I see Deputy Chief Campbell has her hand raised, so I'll defer to her. Go right ahead.
Thank you, Chief. I just had a question for the petitioner about the ramp on the far side that was deemed to be ADA compliant. Is that, just how did you determine that it was ADA compliant?
Is that at the same location?
Yes, that one right there.
So these were all, I mean, this entire, these four corners were recently upgraded after FedCorp's work. Who did some Boston Water and Sewer work in B Street specifically. And so these four corners were made to be ADA compliant as a result of that work. So those are all relatively new as is.
We do have a database of compliance and non-compliance for every ramp in the city, and I'm wondering if this information, if you've just referenced that information, and if not, we can share that with you and just confirm that we agree that it is compliant.
Yes,
if it's not, then okay, sure. Then if it's not compliant, then maybe this question is considering a raised crosswalk becomes a little easier.
Okay.
Raise the intersection then.
All right, well, we appreciate you taking a look at these, all of these things, and you know, please work with PIC staff to just explore what's possible here. And I appreciate that there are some existing grading challenges and drainage challenges here. You know, ideally we would, without obviously the analysis, though, it would be helpful to at least understand what the cause is and whether there's an opportunity to maybe address that at the same time as looking at the pedestrian safety potential, improvement potential next to this playground. So we appreciate you taking a look. GIC staff, any comments, questions, members of the public?
No, I don't have any at this time.
All right. With that, will you be ready for your public hearing in 2 weeks on July 25th?
Yes, George Murray. Yes, Mr. Chairman, we will. We will follow up on this issue regarding that crosswalk between the site and Flaherty Park, but we will be ready in 2 weeks.
All right, excellent. We very much appreciate it. Thank you, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and with that, we have reached the end of our agenda. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you all very much. See you soon.
Thank
Thank you.